The Shia community, the followers of Ahlulbayt, for years, for centuries, have commemorated the martyrdom of Imam Hussain by their heart. As long as this was contained in their communities, it was not very much questioned. Why is this? For one who believes, for those who know the story, who have lived their life with the story of Imam Hussain, it was not something to be questioned. But now people ask, why is this mourning? After centuries of something has happened, we have had so many wars, victories and failures during the history of mankind. Nobody weeps for something has happened 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 1,300 years ago. And they are really astonished to see followers of Ahlulbayt years after years listening to the same story, and then they start crying and they hold up different ceremonies in different parts of the world, in Muslim world and Muslim communities in non-Muslim world. They are so special about having these ceremonies. Why? And it's a very good question even for Shia communities to ask themselves about the logic of commemoration of Imam Hussain. What role does that have in my life? Is it only a ceremonial thing? Is it only living up a tradition? Is it only part of the culture? Is it something similar to traditional rituals that every community have? Is it part of the social identity that I want to attach myself to? Or is it part of my development? It is part of the life that I live. There's a big difference between these two. Looking at the many emphasis that we have had from our imams, asking us to live up with this story, to commemorate this story time and again, we see that this has become part of Islamic life. As a continuous court, there is an injustice committed sometime at some land, and this case has brought to mankind's judgment. The whole humanity has been given the chance to be the judge in this court, and this court is continuous. Every man, every woman, at any time, it doesn't matter, is invited to come and see, to look at this scenery and be a judge. So it's not only a copycat act of something traditional. Every man and woman who is invited to this court of justice, looking at it, making a judgment, and that making judgment is not only by writing and signing a verdict, it comes from your heart. You sign that verdict with your tears. Something comes from both your rational thinking and your feeling. It means reliving and refreshing your value system at one hand, and your judgment, the way you make judgments in your real life, in your social life. By making this judgment, you are refreshing both your reasoning and your reflection. That is commemoration of Imam Hussain.